One of the best ways to mitigate stress with your child is to validate what they're saying. And one way to validate is to agree with them instead of arguing with them. And I learned this when I spoke with psychologist Laura Kastner for our first film, Screenagers. Here she does a really good job of how not to get sucked into the fight cycle and how to validate them instead.
What happens is, I think a lot of time parents start out right. Let's say the child comes home and says, I hate school. There's nothing there for me that's good anymore. I don't even care. I just want to give up. Now, a parent might start out by saying, oh, honey, you had a bad day. Tell me about it. And that starts out well. But when the child says, I just don't care. I mean, it's not even worth trying anymore. The parent might get hooked and say, well, you have to care. I mean, school matters. No, school doesn't matter. It's stupid. I'm not going to even try anymore. And the parent gets hooked again and say, well, honey, I know you feel bad, but you have to care about grades. Why do I have to care about grades? School doesn't work for me. I don't have to go to college. And they say, no, you have to go to college because college is the way you're going to have opportunities in the world. I mean, you can't just give up on school. So see, in this scenario, the parent started out saying, oh, honey, tell me about your bad day, but then gets hooked by the child going for higher and higher, risky material, if you will, by saying, I don't care about school, I'm not going to try, it's hopeless. And then you could see even though a good-hearted parent could go into, what can I do to help? I see that you're really stressed out. School sounds really hard. But if if she doesn't say, something like, whoa, it's just like terrible. It's just awful these days. Tell me about it. And the kid might say, oh, my friends didn't talk to me today. And, Bella did her little pleaser thing with the teacher and the teacher fell for it. And then, once you've started to get a little material, you say, oh, it's hard when Bella is doing her pleaser thing and the teacher's like her. And you kind of feel on the outs, right? And then the child might say, yeah, I hate it. I hate school. And then I come home and then you're always telling me to get off my phone. And then the parent that's defensive would say, no, it's not me. It's that you hate school. And then the parent might say, it's just that when you are on your phone all the time, that's not going to help you do better at school. See, once again, she's getting hooked by the content. You need to work at school and then you will feel better. And I'm not the problem. You're the problem with the phone, right? So it's really hard if the child starts to attack you to say, you're always on my back too. I go to school and it's stressful. I come home and you're always on me to not be glued to my phone. And the parent says, I only try to get you off the phone because you said you wanted to do better at school. And you got to do some homework and then you'll do better at school. And then the child might say, no, I go to school and I'm stressed. I come home and you're always on me, I'm stressed. It's very hard for a parent to say, oh, so when I remind you of those things, of course I'm more stressful. So validation means that you are seeing their perspective and saying to them, from your perspective, it makes sense. I like to think that I'm part of your support group, the cheerleader, the helper, but you see me as part of your stress. I mean, some kids will say, I just look at my mother's face and I can see what she's thinking. She said, why aren't you reading? Why aren't you doing your chores? If you care about grades, why don't you do your homework? And a good thing to say then would be, oh, of course you know how much I care about those things. And of course I have that face on. You know me that well. So it's hard. You go to school and it's stressful. You come home, you see my face. You're reminded of maybe what is on my agenda. And that's stressful too. Oh, God, what a bind, that you're in. When parents start getting defensive and saying, look, I only look at you that way because you say you want to do better at school. You need to put your phone down if you're going to do homework. Then you would do better at school. That's logic brain, but that child is flooding with emotion of stress and you just dismissed her. You just told her she's wrongheaded in the way she sees it. I'm not the problem. You're the problem because you make bad choices. And then guess what? The child started with talking about stress. The parents started getting defensive. They got into logic brain saying, all you need to do is put your phone down and do more homework. And then guess what? Your grades would go up. You wouldn't be as stressed. But then you're part of the enemy camp because you just said it's this easy thing, put down my phone. And then the child will tell you, look, and so many children have told me this. I come home, I've been through 6 wars, 8 hours of class. I just want to veg out a little bit and look at my Instagram scroll, and you're on my back. And that's a different way of looking at things. The parent says, you're looking at it for 3 hours. That's part of the problem. So then the parent is blaming the child is blaming the parent. That is not collaborative. That's enemy camps again. So I think what happens is kids come home, they pick a fight with the parent about saying, no, you're the problem because you're on my back. And the parent says, no, you're making bad choices. And then we're just another stressor in their life. So by validating and not being defensive and saying, oh, of course you're right. Home is stressful because I of course want you to do homework. That's really unusual to say, oh, you see my face and feel like I'm part of the problem. Yeah, I can see how that could happen easily. Wow, that's an undefensive, affirming, validating mother. And then once you give it to them and say, yeah, I can sort of see my face might definitely telegraph that to you, the child will move on to something else. Once you've said, yeah, I can see it from that point of view, that makes sense. There's this, yeah, the minute they say, yes, exactly, you're in. Because when I watch a parent and child back and forth and the parent affirms and validates, doesn't get defensive and says, oh, so I'm even part of the problem sometimes. Yes, exactly. Then they'll move to the next thing. They might say, yeah, and Bella, I mean, what about her? So part of the validating means we're on the same team because we've cozied up to them and we're willing to look through their lens. School's a problem. It's overwhelming. Bella isn't my friend today. You're my problem because I see your face and I know you want me to do homework. They need somebody with them. I mean, they do want somebody to be co-miserable with them, sit with their misery. And by seeing it from their point of view, we're with them. Arguing them about all you need to do is do more homework and your grades would go up means we're part of the enemy camp. One of the biggest pitfalls I see in parent-child communication is that we get triggered by things that they say. They might have, I hate school, or I don't have any friends, or I'm giving up on studying, it doesn't work. And we'll get hooked and start to argue with them about the truth. And so one of the most important things is to realize what triggers us so that we start to dismiss their feelings or argue about their feelings or go into quick problem solving. So we really need to know when we're triggered and we start to argue with them and it's going downhill, and be able to regulate our own emotions and maybe have a full stop and start over tomorrow. Because if what has us fail on a regular basis is being hooked by their negative behaviors, then the first job we have is to be self-aware so that we can quell that urge or that temptation to give negative feedback. Because it doesn't work, it makes things work. We might be right, but are we effective? If I had to pick one skill for especially parents to get better at, to be effective with their teenagers, it would be validation. To learn that it's not approval, it's not agreement, it's seeing it from their perspective and accepting their feelings exactly the way they are.
Thank you for watching this video. We publish new videos every week, so if you enjoy this sort of content, please like and subscribe to the channel.